As last time, this video kinda went pretty well and a lot of people liked it. We're gonna take a look today again at the meta changes which are going to happen now in Season 12 for the Open Ultra League here now. As we have the move updates, of course, and all those move updates going to do something at least with it, as we can now take a look at what's happening. We have some buffs and nerfs here. For example, we have now the XL Miltank and XL Dubwool, especially the Dubwool in the meta here, which also has access to payback, which is really nice in this current meta. We have the Steelix here, which has access now to Psychic Fangs. I still don't like the Steelix, to be honest. It's not really my favorite Pokemon to use. Then we have two very good fighting types which are now in the meta as well, with the Virizion and the Cobalion, which I already showcased the Cobalion before on this channel 2 weeks ago, most likely when you are hearing this. And we have the Dragonite as well, which now has access to Superpower. We're gonna take a look at this later. What we don't really have is the Walrein. A lot of people just really completely banished the Walrein, so like you don't really have to care too much about it anymore, I think. And the Registeel is still going to be there, but Registeel got a little bit nerfed and a lot of people don't have the XL candy for Registeel, including myself. I would have a rank 1, but I cannot use it, so a lot of people also don't really want to use the Registeel. How does the meta look then? We can take a look at Virizion real quick. Virizion going to be able now to learn the move Double Kick, and also the Quick Attack also got boosted. The first one here is Double Kick, where you also beat against something like Cobalion, for example. You have very good stats as well. You have access to Leaf Blade, you have access to, I think, also Stone Edge, but usually you would want to run the Double Kick, the Sacred Sword, and the Leaf Blade here, which is a very insanely good moveset, to be honest. And it's going to be instant meta, very cool Pokemon, I like it. As we can take a look at the counterpart, which is going to be the Cobalion here, which you see on the left side, the Metal Claw version, on the right side, the Now version with the Double Kick, definitely a way better improvement here. The cool thing about Cobalion is you usually would run the Sacred Sword again with the Double Kick, but also the Stone Edge, which gives you an option to actually one-shot the Talonflame, I think. So that's pretty nice. As we go into the next one, which is going to be Steelix. Steelix now has access to the Psychic Fangs, which is on the right side here. The left side is with Earthquake, and you see here, like, it doesn't really get that crazy much better, but still very nice to have coverage against fighting types as a Steel type Pokemon, so I think this is definitely also a very decent-ish change. Well, we can go into the next one, which is going to be the Miltank and the Dubwool together here. You're going to see here on the left side the Miltank with Tackle, then you're going to see the Miltank with a Rollout. You see Tackle is definitely way better. In general, I think Tackle is the way to go on Miltank, as this thing is now a Water Gun clone, and Water Gun does a lot of damage, especially the stab version here. And then we have the Dubwool, where the first one is the Tackle version, and here the other one is the Double Kick version. The Double Kick version looks way better at this point of time. Again, you're on payback usually, which is going to allow you to have some coverage against ghost types, which is very important for this Pokemon. So those are those Pokemon, but there is a There's Dragonite, of course. Dragonite is also very strong, as you can see here right now. It was already very strong before. Was most likely the best non-XL Pokemon in the Open Ultra League, next to the Ascav, in my opinion. Of course, you still have Trevenant, but Trevenant is technically an XL Pokemon, so hey. We see here that this thing can beat nearly everything right now, which is kind of insane. You would also be able to beat Cobalion, I think, if you, like, don't get baited and you can hit your Superpower, so that's also not the worst problem. You see first always the variant with the Hurricane. The first one is Hurricane. The second one is the one with the Superpower upgrade directly next to each other. For example, now you pick up the Escavalier while you lose against the Tapu Fini now because you don't have a coverage move anymore, but the matchup against Tapu Fini was kind of awkward anyway. And in the Shadow version, you're going to be able to pick up the Registeel, you're going to pick up the Dubwool there compared to the other Shadow version. You're going to be able to pick up the Ascav. You lose against Mandibuzz, but I think it's all pretty fairly a good upgrade for the Dragonite. And last but not least, we also have a new Pokemon that really just came into the meta, which is the Buzzwole, which just got released basically at the end of the last month. This Pokemon seems to be the best fighting type available in this meta because it's going to be able to resist fighting types. And of course, as you now have the access to Obstagoon from the C-Day, you have the access to Virizion and the access to Cobalion. Having a Pokemon that is able to resist fighting type damage and also like hardwalling basically Virizion's moveset, while having access to Lunge, which can deal with Virizion and Obstagoon and Superpower, which can deal with something like the Cobalion. This Pokemon gonna even gain more benefit from this. But as you can see from the ones before, you have like a lot of Pokemon that are fighting types, which are gaining more benefit, which basically results to also an inflation, most likely to more ghost types in the meta, like Giratina. Both forms going to be more common, and also the Trevenant going to be a little bit more common, as those are all already in the meta, and with more fighting types available, those will be a little bit more common. But you have fighting types here, you have 2 dragon types here, you have a steel type that doesn't really have a steel type move. That also changes something into a direction a lot of people don't really want to see it in. And these are the fairy types. The flip side of it all is that fairy types basically beats Buzzwole, Virizion, Cobalion, Steelix and Dragonite. All of them are basically weak to Charm. That's just Steelix is actually just a bulky steel snake, but it just doesn't have any move really to hit it, so what can you do? Even the Steelix here with the Psychic Fang is going to lose against a Weezing Galarian version because of the overheat, and the Psychic Fangs doesn't do anything, and the fast move of the Dragon Tail is double resisted on fairies. So yeah, Steelix is actually not even that good against them, which is kinda crazy. Otherwise, you see something like Cresselia most likely going to get a little bit of a buff as well. I wouldn't expect it too crazy, but definitely something that will get a little bit better, especially when Registeel goes a little bit away. But the rest here, a lot of Charm users. But also, you have now three fighting types that are all weak to one type. You have 3 other types also, like you have the Trevenant, for example, around. You have the steel type Steelix around, which this means as well is something like fire type is going to be way better as well, which puts us basically to a spot that's pretty similar to the meta we had already prior. Like now, cool, the Warren and the Registeel is gone, you have like all those changes, you have more fighting types available, but at the end of the day, something like the Nidoqueen and the Talonflame going to be very strong again, as they can beat the fairy types, they can beat the fighting types. Especially like Nidoqueen again, the poison and ground typing is just amazing, to be honest. Like you're going to be able to hardwall the moveset of the Buzzwole, you're going to be able to hardwall the moveset of the Cobalion, you're going to be at least half hardwalling the moveset of Virizion, as you still get neutral damage from the Leaf Blade there, so it's not perfect hardwall, but this thing going to be crazy good again. And this basically puts us back to a very similar spot than the meta we had before. I don't think the changes are as crazy. I also don't think that the changes are in general going to make the first few weeks again very crazy as it is currently with the Great League, as we have like all the new Pokemon available there. I think it's very more closely to what we had prior. But some changes are there, so I think it's still going to be pretty cool. Thanks for watching, see you next video, have a great rest of your day, bye!